When soil turns lifeless, it shows in every way. Crops stall, leaves pale, water runs off instead of sinking in, and no worms or fungi can be found beneath the surface. Dead soil is compacted, starved of organic matter, and stripped of microbial life. Bringing it back can sound like a massive project, but the truth is microbes respond quickly when the right ingredients are added. The revival doesn't require complicated formulas or endless work. It comes from choosing materials that feed microbes directly, giving them the energy and habitat to multiply. This guide dives into the ingredients that wake up dormant soils and how to apply them in practical, low-effort ways that deliver results. Microbes respond fastest to simple sugars and liquid carbon sources. The first trigger for microbial revival is a ready source of energy. Just like people need calories to get moving, soil microbes need a quick food supply to spark activity. Simple sugars are the most effective. Unsulfured molasses is one of the most powerful tools, used at a ratio of 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water, sprinkled over a bed or added into a compost tea. Brown sugar water, rice wash water, or diluted fruit scraps work in much the same way. These sugars do not feed plants directly. Instead, they provide the instant fuel bacteria and fungi need to wake up and multiply. Within days of application, the soil surface develops that earthy smell again, a sign of life returning. Fungi and bacteria really come to life when they're given decomposable organic matter. It's like a feast for them. You know, sugars do spark activity, but here's the thing. Microbes can't survive on sugar alone. They need a steady diet of carbon-rich and nitrogen-rich materials to really build up their populations. So, the lazy yet effective method? It's all about adding soft, decomposable organic matter. Things like kitchen scraps, spent coffee grounds, grass clippings, and even chopped weeds. They all act as a fantastic microbial feed. In a garden bed, spreading a nice 2-inch layer of this material across the top, and then lightly watering it in creates what we might call a natural microbe buffet. And if you're working with raised beds or containers, mixing equal parts compost and soft organics into the top 6 inches is a great way to go. It works like a charm. You know, what matters is not just the presence of organic matter, but the type. Microbes colonize tender materials quickly, while woody debris takes months or even years to show results. Cardboard and paper waste actually create habitat that holds moisture. A surprising ingredient for microbial revival is plain brown cardboard or uncoated paper. While it seems lifeless at first glance, once dampened, cardboard becomes a fungal magnet. It holds moisture like a sponge, giving microbes a refuge where they can grow without drying out. Laying flattened sheets over bare soil or tearing cardboard into strips and burying them 2 to 4 inches deep creates fungal highways underground. The carbon in cardboard breaks down slowly, ensuring microbes have food for weeks, while its structure holds water in otherwise dry soils. This method is particularly effective in compacted soils where cardboard breaks the cycle of hard crusts and provides a softer, living layer underneath. Compost and worm castings seed soils with living inoculants. One of the most direct ways to jumpstart dead soil is to add inoculants, living populations of microbes delivered in concentrated form. Finished compost, vermicompost, or even partially decomposed piles carry billions of bacteria and fungi ready to colonize new ground. A 1-inch layer of compost spread across the bed, or, a handful of worm castings mixed into planting holes can shift soil biology within weeks. The microbes in compost don't just feed soil, they introduce diversity, which makes the system more resilient. Think of this step as seeding the soil with new life, while the sugars and organics provide the feast that sustains them. Moisture control determines whether microbes survive after revival. Even the best ingredients won't work if moisture swings too far. Soil that dries out repeatedly forces microbes into dormancy, while waterlogged ground suffocates them. To revive soil lazily but effectively, manage moisture like a steady heartbeat. Once you've applied sugars, organics, and compost, the next step is to cover the soil with mulch. You can use straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips. A layer that's about 2 to 3 inches thick will do wonders, locking in that precious moisture and providing a buffer against those extreme temperature swings. Now, when it comes to watering, it's important to consider your soil type. If you're dealing with sandy beds, you might need to water every 2 to 3 days at first. But if your soil is more on the clay side, you'll want to water less frequently, making sure to do it deeply. It's all about finding that balance. The principle here is really quite simple. Microbes thrive in conditions that are moist but still breathable. And that's where mulch comes in, ensuring that this revival of life in your garden lasts. It's amazing what a little bit of planning and care can achieve. Okay, let's talk about ratios and simple applications to make this work. A practical formula for microbial revival in one raised bed measuring 4 by 8 feet is as follows. First, you'll want to dilute 2 tablespoons of molasses into a 2-gallon watering can and then drench the bed evenly. Next, you'll want to spread a 2-inch layer of soft organics like grass clippings, coffee grounds, or even chopped leaves right across the surface. Now, add about 1 inch of finished compost or vermicompost over that layer and work it lightly into the top few inches using a rake or a hand fork. Finally, just cover everything up with a 2 to 3 inch mulch blanket made from leaves or straw. Within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll probably notice signs of microbial life like a better smell, darker topsoil, and sometimes even the return of worms. In larger garden plots, you just want to use the same logic, scaling up the quantities proportionally. Dead soils honestly revive best when you layer the ingredients together. Each ingredient, sugars, soft organics, cardboard, compost, and mulch, works on its own, but when layered together, they create the ideal conditions for microbial revival. The sugars provide instant fuel, the organics sustain growth, the cardboard creates habitat, the compost seeds diversity, and the mulch preserves balance. This layered method works because it mirrors what happens in natural ecosystems, where leaves fall, sugars drip from roots, fungi colonize woody debris, and animals return nutrients to the soil. By copying these patterns in a lazy but deliberate way, gardeners revive dead soils faster and with less effort. Closing thoughts. Reviving dead soil doesn't require expensive products or constant work. It really just comes down to feeding microbes what they crave, seeding them with new life, and, protecting the environment they need to thrive. Sugars, organics, cardboard, compost, and moisture control together spark microbial revival in a matter of weeks, turning lifeless dirt into a living system again. For gardeners, this is honestly the most powerful shortcut available, restoring soil biology naturally so plants can grow stronger without relying on chemical fixes. If this guide has been helpful, make sure to share it with fellow gardeners and subscribe to HydroHaven for more in-depth, soil-focused strategies. Reviving dead soil is possible for everyone, and with these lazy but genius tricks, you can bring life back to any garden bed.